The storyline thickens in the never-ending saga of the New York Jets quarterback controversy. Many thought Tim Tebow should have been given the chance earlier in the year with the failures with Mark Sanchez at the helm, and it came to Tebow's surprise when he was snubbed by head coach Rex Ryan last week in favor of Greg McElroy versus the Chargers. Now, one thing Tim Tebow has always sold himself on is not so much his image, but his example. His example as being a football player second and what he calls, I guess, a Christian or a person of faith first. And the key tenet in his example was always humility. He'll always do what the coach says and do what's best for the team. That's why you see him running on special teams, being the personal punt protector. All that stuff plays into that Tim Tebow storyline, which is good for the NFL. However, I saw a little chink in that armor to hear that he complained about the decision to go with Greg McElroy, whether he agreed with it or not. It really flies in the face of what he seems to have always stood for. I kind of always have seen through that. If you remember when he threw that touchdown pass against Denver last year to win the playoff game, he's running down enthusiastically to celebrate the touchdown in overtime, and he realizes the cameras are on him, and he stops and does his little Tebow pose. And I kind of thought that was telling. He was kind of making the moment about himself. So I think there's a little bit of hypocrisy going on in the mind of Tim Tebow. Now, I can't blame him for wanting to play. However, on ESPN today, Merrill Hodge, who I've never been a fan of because I've always felt he was critical of my Eagles, Andy Reid, Donovan McNabb, he kind of opened my eyes today with some insight. He was honest enough to kind of blast Tim Tebow for the hypocrisy in his behavior. And he said that Tim Tebow should be giving Christmas cards to the Broncos for signing him and drafting him, and for the Jets for giving him another contract, because he feels that Tim Tebow is not an NFL quarterback, and a lot of people agree. Do I think this guy has a work ethic to maybe overcome his shortcomings and in the future learn to be a better passer? Possibly. Will he get the opportunity? That's kind of the controversy, because most quarterbacks don't get that opportunity. And he's been given it based on his outstanding character, and now his character is called into question, because this was clearly a selfish move, which he has not denied, nor has the coach denied it. The rumors are that, or the statements are that his people talked to the Jets people. I don't believe that. I think they're just not going to tell us what happened in the conversation. I don't put too much stock into what Adam Schefter reports for ESPN, because he's been wrong before. It's possible, this is conjecture, but what leads me to believe that there's truth in the fact that Tim Tebow basically said, "Don't play me if I'm not going to be the starting quarterback," is the fact that Curley ran the wildcat package, and all year Tebow's been doing the wildcat packages. That to me is a red flag for basically someone who acts like a typical selfish wide receiver in the NFL. Give me the damn ball. And you're seeing that out of Tim Tebow right now. That doesn't make him any different than any player in the NFL. It just dispels this myth of this humble, unselfish player. I mean, you give anybody that kind of opportunity and spoils in life, I mean, it's going to affect you a little bit. So I don't want to be too harsh on him. So next year, look for Tim Tebow to possibly be the quarterback of the Jacksonville Jaguars, and Mike Vick, who is going to get the start for an injured Nick Foles this week, might come into New York and save those Jets. If being so, the Jets will be my AFC team, as the Eagles here are my favorite team. So let's go Eagles, let's go Jets. Both franchises need to get it together.